snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles, touchdown.
Here he goes. It's Hester. Inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown.
Fields stumbling, trying to cut it back. Justin Fields making magic happen. There goes Fields. Touchdown!
Hurts on first down, fires downfield. It's Deshaun Jackson back in the lineup. Missed the last 7 games, and he will take it 81 yards. A somersault into the end zone. His first touchdown of the season.
You're listening to the Pigskin Project, the world's #1 football podcast. Now, with more insights on all things football, here are your hosts, Ben Hansen and Ryan Matthews. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my first podcast episode not being a teenager. It's kind of weird. Anyways, yeah, going strong. It was a big weekend. But man, was it glorious. It was such a beautiful weekend. And the thing is, normally I play softball on Sundays. It was very rainy and gross and depressing outside, but it was quite the opposite inside. I was very happy, all sunshine and rainbows, and, got to watch the game and stuff. For those, that haven't connected the dots yet, it was my birthday, which I'm pretty positive I mentioned last episode as well. The stars have aligned. It was a perfect birthday. The Bears won. The Packers lost. Hopefully a sign to come for my 20s. That would be nice. But I don't think anything correlates with my birthday as much as I want it to. Overall, great weekend. Awesome weekend for football. Which, by the way, I have a couple announcements to make as far as personal, but before I get into that, Ben, why don't you tell us about how your weekend went? Judging by this is your first week 1 football Sunday on your own, how did that go?
Oh yeah, no, it was awesome. I literally just sat on the couch for like a solid 10 hours. I just had food, ate food, and watched football. Literally the entire Sunday. Monday was a shocker to all of us. I'm sure we'll get into that. But like you said, it's just great to have football back. It's great to just be able to finally, talk about, what we're seeing out there on the field. And I'm sure you're eager to talk about what you saw out there on the field on Sunday.
Oh my God, dude. I am so excited to be able to talk about that. I want to talk about, that was probably the most eventful birthday that I've ever had. I'll be completely honest with you. I'm not one to brag, but what I do want to say is, for those that are listening to the podcast actively and everything, for people that are looking for content, for me personally, on let's see, what week is that? Week 9, I will be going to Chicago again to see the Bears play versus the Dolphins with my lovely girlfriend Caitlin. That'll be fun. And then not too much longer, but week 13, just a month later, I will be going to my very first Bears and Packers game at Soldier Field, December 4th. So that'll be good. Then we take a little bit of a break from Bears football right after that game, hopefully with some momentum going into the week after that, where me and you both get to go to the Bears and Eagles game at Soldier Field. So that'll be a lot of fun. That, and I am potentially going to the week 6 matchup against the Commanders on Thursday Night Football as well. That is a possibility for sure, but that is very much up in the air. So if, let's just say that, that falls in line and everything, and I am able to go to the Commanders game, I will have said that I have gone to a quarter of the Bears games, counting preseason and regular season. So, there's 20 total games, and I would have been able to go to 5 of them at Soldier Field. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, if you're looking for, as far as experience levels go and how things went, Hopefully Soldier Field won't be as destroyed as it was this past Sunday. Did you see any of like the videos from inside? You know, like the little staircases and stuff that we were going on when dude, waterfalls. Like that was insane. And like flooding into the like main concourse and everything too. And the people that were working there as far as like security was just like sitting there like, oh, yeah, this is Soldier Field. Nothing new, you know. Gives us a lot to look forward to. But speaking of a lot to look forward to, we have a little bit of
Ryan and Ben bring you weekly news.
Weekly news, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. So Zach Wilson is back at practice for the New York Jets. Very, very exciting. You love to see it.
Because he has the dog in him.
He has that dog in him. I'm going to be honest with you. We got a little bit of a lengthier show when it comes to arguments and stuff. So just sit back, relax, because you're going to love that. I'm going to speed through a little bit of weekly news and our week one recap. I'm pretty positive everybody listening to this knows what happened in week one, but we're going to do a recap just in case. The Colts are waiving kicker Rodrigo Blankenship. Unfortunately, to be honest with you, I don't think this was as fair as it would have been if like the Bears cut Cody Parkey in 2018 like they should have. I think Rodrigo Blankenship is going to find no issue finding another job somewhere else.
He'll find out somewhere real quick, especially after the kicker play we saw.
Yeah, no. So without a doubt, before diving in too deep, I'm not really worried about Rodrigo. I think that he's a very talented specimen, and although he's a kicker, but I think that he's more talented than, you know, kickers coming out of college and stuff like that. For at least a workout or something like that, I don't think he'll have any issues finding another job elsewhere. So Seahawks safety Jamal Adams has suffered a severe quad injury. TJ Watt has torn his pec, but it isn't season ending. He'll be back before the end of October. That's the rumor right now. Dak Prescott will miss several weeks with a hand injury and will miss wow, I put that twice. He's going to be missing several weeks. As a result, the Cowboys are turning to the quarterback market, in which I would not be surprised. However, I think it's highly unlikely that Jimmy Garoppolo gets traded, especially after week one with Trey Lance not having the most impressive start, but we'll get back into that later. Najee Harris has suffered an ankle injury and thrown it back to the Colts. They have signed offensive guard Quentin Nelson to a 4-year, $80 million contract, as he deserves. So, all that in mind, let's go through our week one. I'll keep weekly news up here just because it's still, you know.
And week one recap. And Derek Barnett tore his ACL.
Yes. Kyle Fuller also tore his ACL. They're both
poor guy. Poor guy.
That hurts, man. Bringing back, like, you know, that scene in Harry Potter where, like, you know, Voldemort's close by or whatever, and like his scar starts to hurt. Like, whenever somebody gets an ACL tear, I'm just kind of like, my knee. I'm just kidding. Anyways, when it comes to week one recap, and I just want to let this be known, we are not going to be spending very much time on our week one recap or just weekly recap, just because we're going to be deep diving into our analysis for our week two predictions and kind of reflecting on that later on. But so without further ado, I'm just going to speed through this. The Bills beat the Rams on Thursday Night Football 31-10. The Eagles beat the Lions 38-35. The Bears beat the 49ers 19-10. Heck yeah, bear down. Steelers beat the Bengals 23-30. Dolphins beat the Patriots 20-7. Browns beat the Panthers 26-24. Baker didn't play too bad, but he didn't play good at either. Colts tie with the Texans 20-20. That was a highly disappointing game. I definitely thought that Matt Ryan was getting a little more there. Saints beat the Falcons. Falcons choked, I should have said, 27-26. Ravens beat the Jets 24-9. Commanders beat Jaguars 28-22. Vikings beat the Packers. Screw Green Bay 23-7. Giants beat Titans 21-20 in a battle of the mascots. Chargers beat the Raiders in one heck of a game from Devontae Adams, 24-19. Got to give him props, even though I know that he plays for the Raiders, whatever. I know I just worded that wrong. I know I'm not stupid, okay, for listening to this, whatever. Chiefs beat Cardinals 44-21, and I should say Chiefs torched the Cardinals. The Cardinals aren't the Cardinals that they were last year. So Buccaneers beat Cowboys in quite possibly the most boring game of the whole weekend in 19-3 fashion. And then the Seahawks beat the Broncos 17-16, just stunned Russell Wilson in a disappointing start to Nathaniel Hackett's head coaching career. My record on my birthday was 12-3-1. And then Ben's record was 9-6-1, just going into it, which was 9-6-1 was Matt's record. If you guys were listening last week as well, they tied. But just as a note, we are not going to be counting ties as a win or a loss, just because, quite frankly, nobody can predict a tie. Anyways, so that brings us to our next segment.
You think you know football? Well, prove it. This is Pigskin Pick Em.
So I'm going to remove weekly news here. We, for this week, just because I poorly planned this out, we're going to do upset alert with Pigskin Pick Em. So we're not going to be using that drop, but let's go ahead and get right into it. I mean, why not, right? So the Chargers at Chiefs, Thursday Night Football tomorrow night. The whole reason why we're putting out this show on Thursday morning and broadcasting it Wednesday night. Ben, what are your thoughts?
This honestly might be the best game we see all week. That's no knock to the games that we see later on down the schedule. It's just, I mean, Patrick Mahomes really silenced everyone that was trying to say he's not going to be the same without Tyreek Hill, because boy, did he look good last week. But Chargers Chiefs, again, I think it's a battle of two of the best young quarterbacks in the league. I think this game could go either way. I'm going to have the Chargers winning, but I'm going to have it be like a 37-40.
37-40. I love it. So, wait, who did you say that you were winning?
Chargers.
All right. I am not, if you've listened to like the whole preseason, I'm not as high on the Chiefs as everybody else. And despite the fact that they had a great showing, the Cardinals just aren't that team anymore. It's not the most impressive defense, but holy crap, if we're talking about explosive defenses, we have to mention the Chargers defense. Khalil Mack walked away with 3 sacks in the first game of the season against the Raiders. And I think that the Chargers defense is going to find a pretty easy route to the quarterback as well. I don't see it being this high of a scoring game, but I do expect it being pretty high. I'm going to go 34-21 Chargers.
Okay. No, I just think it's going to be a shootout. I think we have two of the best, gunslinging quarterbacks in the NFL playing in this game. So
I can't wait for that one. I'll be honest with you. I think this one's going to be very, very good tomorrow. But that also throws us into our noon games. Ben, like I said before, you can go first here. We're going straight off the bat with Dolphins at Ravens.
Oh, you threw me off here. I don't think the Dolphins are going to look, not that the Dolphins looked particularly bad on offense this past week. I do think they're going to look better than what they did last week, because they kind of just boat raced the Patriots. The game was pretty slow. It was hard to watch. The Patriots looked horrific. That's something me and you have been trying to get out to our listeners the entire offseason. I think the Ravens are going to win this one. I think they're probably going to win by a touchdown. So we're going to go with a 31-24.
Okay. I am higher up on the Ravens. However, I feel like they should have dropped a little bit more on the Jets than they did this past week.
Sauce Gardner looked good.
Sauce did look good, and he exceeded all of my expectations. If you listen to any of our draft coverage this past year, for some reason, I wasn't necessarily like the biggest Sauce Gardner fan. So he proved me wrong. I'll say it. And it sucks, but I was wrong. Okay. At least for this week. So we will definitely see what he can do next week. I'm looking forward to that. But the Ravens look good. and I think the secondary is going to take control, but it's going to be very, very close. And I think I'm going to give it to the Ravens still 27-21.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I mean, we're on the same, but yeah, I can get behind that sentiment.
The Jets are going to Cleveland with this next matchup. Ben, what do you think?
Which, by the way, that game was just super fun to watch. I mean, I thought for sure Baker was out of it, but he really clawed his team back into it, and the Browns won with a game-winning field goal. K. York looked awesome, but it's Browns Jets, right?
Yes.
Yeah, this. I have two upset watches. This is going to be one of the upset watches. I understand Zach Wilson's probably not going to play. Again, I'm just not very high on the Browns. And this might come back and really bite me in the butt because Myles Garrett just terrorized Icky last week. But I still do have the Browns winning this. But again, I think this is going to kind of be back to that boat race. I wouldn't at all be surprised. Here's my prediction. The Browns win 27-17.
Okay. I'm actually going to disagree with you here. I think this is going to be a strong start to the Jets. Even though they're not really, I mean, they lost last week to a great team. The Browns almost lost to a team that I don't think is that good. And I would take the Jets over the Panthers right now. Judging by the way that Sauce looks, judging by, the way that Christian McCaffrey looked, I think Breece Hall might have a strong day here. But just saying, with Sauce Gardner being able to cover Amari Cooper and Jacoby Brissett just not being that guy, like I said that he was, I'm going to give this one to the Jets, and I'm going to say 17 Jets.
Wow. So I guess you have this game on upset watch as well.
Mm-hmm.
I can't quite get there yet. But I wouldn't at all be surprised if they do end up pulling this one out.
Right. And just to let everybody know too, just to help out with schedules and everything. So the Dolphins and Ravens, as well as the Jets and Browns, are 12 p.m. Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time games. And then I'll let you know when we hit that 3:05 Central, 4:05 Eastern Time as well, just so that everybody knows when these games are happening. So next up for the noon games, 1 p.m. games, Commanders at Lions.
Ooh, this one, I'm going to be honest, was pretty tough for me to pick because as an Eagles fan, I saw how well the Lions played. And if the Lions are going to blitz Carson Wentz as much as they blitz Hurts this past weekend, Carson Wentz is going to drop 5 touchdowns on them.
Yeah.
I barely have the Commanders squeaking this one out here. But we have the Commanders winning 27-24.
All right.
That's a close one.
We're going upset alert with this one as well. I'm picking the Lions to win this one. If you look at last week's matchup between the Jaguars and the Commanders, James Robinson had a great start to his season after the Achilles injury, which I think was a phenomenal thing just to watch last week. When you're dealing with a good run team like the Lions, they have DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams, I think his name is, right? Jamal Williams, I think his last name. Yeah. I was just making sure. I know his first name was Jamal, didn't remember his last name for sure. But with that being said, Aiden Hutchinson, I mean, he's proven himself a little bit, and I think he's going to get to the quarterback this week as well. I do have it a pretty close game, but I'm going 21-17 Lions because it's at home. I think I think Detroit's gonna explode when, not like literally, but like their crowd is going to explode just seeing them beat a team like the Commanders. But I will give them props though. You know what? Let me change it because I think it's going to go a little bit higher scoring. I'm going 28-20 Lions. Giving the Commanders 3 more points. However, Carson Wentz didn't look as bad as people did or thought that he was going to.
That's what I'm okay.
So
that's the two things I was trying to say about Carson. I don't think Carson played as bad as what people thought, but Carson Wentz is just this roller coaster of emotions. So again, I heard people saying it on the internet, and I'll reiterate this sentiment. Commanders, just prepare yourself for the roller coaster that is Carson Wentz.
I will say this, though. Carson Wentz had one of the best throws all weekend in a touchdown pass to Terry McLaurin. So if you are interested in that, go and watch the highlights on YouTube. One heck of a throw. I think he deserves a lot more credit than he's getting. However, that leads us to our next game, which features Carson Wentz's old team, the Colts, going against their division rival in Jacksonville. Ben, what are your thoughts?
Well, this is just going to be a fun game because the Colts head coach was the Eagles' old OC, OC that was under Doug Peterson. And the Colts just looked wildly disappointing. I mean, I'm sure you absolutely agree with me. And maybe they'll shock us and the Texans just look good. But the Colts just were it was sad to see. But I do think they'll hopefully end up putting it together. We saw that there at the end of the game. I have this one being a pretty close one as well. I think the Colts win by a field goal, and I think we'll probably see a 17 to 20 Colts.
Okay. So as I'm punching this in, upset alert. I'm going Jaguars.
I can get behind that.
This is, I'll say it. I think that this is Matt Ryan against Matt Ryan Jr. Trevor Lawrence is, I think, an appropriate comparison to Matt Ryan, but slightly better. I think he's going to edge him out just a little bit. If you look at Antonio Gibson's stats last week against the Jaguars, he didn't really do all that good. I really, really like Jonathan Taylor this year, and I also really like Michael Pittman. I'm sure you do, yeah. But, I really like Michael Pittman as well. I think it's going to be a little bit higher scoring than you have it, but I have the Jaguars ultimately winning this one strictly because James Robinson looks good. Christian Kirk had a great showing, and I think this is when you're truly going to see Trevor Lawrence shine a little bit this season, show a little bit more flashes than we're used to. I am going to go 24 to give me 27-24 Jaguars in this one. And this is not where the Colts want to be at the start of their season against what we thought was going to be an easy start for them. Not good at all. This is where they're starting to rethink a couple things. But that takes us to our next one, the Buccaneers going to New Orleans to play the Saints. What are you thinking?
Ring that upset alert. I think the Saints win this game. It's a shame to see I don't think Matt is in here to hear this. I mean, this has nothing to do with Matt. I just think, again, once the Saints started clicking, we saw Michael Thomas just had an awesome fourth quarter. Michael Thomas is back.
Boy.
But I don't know. I don't know if you saw the Bucs injury report, but like half their freaking team is injured. The Bucs. It's crazy. I think they'll still be fun because again, this is a divisional matchup as well. I think this one, just like your last score prediction, I think the Saints will win 27-24.
So looking into this right now, 5 of the 7 Buccaneers wide receivers appear on the injury report. For those that haven't looked at it, this just doesn't look good for them. Tom Brady is out with a non-injury related rest day. He's fine. Mike Evans has a calf injury, but he's been limited. Leonard Fournette has a hamstring injury. He's limited. Then you have Russell Gage, Chris Godwin both out with hamstring injuries and did not practice on Wednesday. Julio Jones with a knee injury did not practice. And Brashad Perriman with a knee injury. limited. Brady has little
And his
help,
offensive line is hurt.
and his offensive line is hurt.
A
What did
lot
you
of
say?
them.
What did you say the score prediction was going to be?
Saints are going to win 27-24.
Okay. I was gonna say Buccaneers are winning this one. It's at the end of the day, it
Tough
comes
to
down to
see
defense.
after you look at that injury report.
I'm still going with the Buccaneers, and here's why. Tom Brady's fine, and he can still perform with receivers that aren't huge names. I think that it'll be okay, and the defense is fine. The defense is still good. The Saints, on the other hand, they've downgraded slightly by trading away one of their best pieces to the Eagles. I think that's a huge red flag. I don't think it's going to be high scoring though. Give me 21 to, I'm going to say 13 Buccaneers.
Wow.
Yeah. They did not have a good showing against the Cowboys, but they still came out on top against the Cowboys. And I'm a fan of that Buccaneers defense. So next up for the noon games, Panthers going to New York. Both teams looked very, very good this past week. Ben, why don't you talk to us a little bit? And then not very, very good, but very, very good. Thinking about what we had them at. Why don't you talk to us about your prediction and your analysis?
Yeah. Again, we can't go around slapping upset tags on everything. This is one of the games I'd watch out for. Again, I do think there's a chance the Giants would take this. I wouldn't at all be surprised. Again, don't want to slap this tag on everything, so we're not going to. I think it's gonna take some time for Baker to, kind of build chemistry up with DJ Moore, because as we know, he was quite disappointing. But the Giants looked actually kind of good. It's amazing what good coaching can do for you. But I mean, the biggest takeaway from that Giants game is Saquon's back. I mean, Saquon just absolutely killed it. Saquon looked really, really good. So I don't know who got him in our league, but the person who was able to get Saquon in the second or third round maybe got the steal of the draft there. But I have the Panthers. I mean, just beating out the Giants. I really just want to put it up, but we're going to say 21-20 Panthers.
All right. I am going to disagree with you here, and I'm going to take the Giants here. I think Saquon looks good. If you look at last week's, defensive stuff with the Panthers, they allowed 141 yards to Nick Chubb. And that's a lot. But Nick Chubb, in my opinion, isn't on Saquon Barkley's level this season, or at least so far. I think Saquon's going to have a big day. I mean, my God, does he look good? And so give me 28-20 Giants on this one. Next up for the last noon game, we have Patriots going to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers without TJ Watt. What do you think?
That's where it gets tough. TJ Watt absolutely just wreaked havoc on Joe Burrow. I mean, might have been the biggest. I mean, that game was a good game, and I'm not talking about the outcome. But I mean, maybe the biggest shock of the week was just how poorly Joe Burrow played in that game. He had 5 turnovers. It just did not look good. T. Higgins was out, so I think that'll take some time. I do think Joe Burrow will bounce back, but we'll get to that a little bit later. It is concerning to see TJ Watt out, because TJ Watt was such a big part of how well they played. But Minkah Fitzpatrick is still there. Alex Highsmith looked phenomenal in that game as well. And like I said, the Patriots didn't look good. Mac Jones has a back issue now. I really don't think this is going to be a close game. I'm going to go with like a 10 to probably a 10 to 30 is what we're going to go with.
In favor of Steelers?
Steelers winning. I'm sorry.
I'm very similar. We're separated by 3 points. I have them winning 27. Oh no, 6 points. Sorry, math. Anyways, 27-13 Steelers. Not giving the Steelers too much props, and I want to give the Patriots a little bit more, but Patriots suck this year. So going into our 3:05 Central Time, 4:05 Eastern Time games, Falcons going to Los Angeles. We don't need to spend too much time on this. I think we both kind of know what page we're on here. What's your score prediction here?
Yeah, LA's taking this one. LA is going to take this one 27-17.
All right. I will say the Falcons looked a little bit better than what everybody had to say. And the Rams didn't look as good, but the thing is the Rams are the Rams, and the Rams are better than the Falcons. And at the end of the day, that's it. So
I would say the better team won because the better team didn't win on Sunday. Anyway, sorry, we'll get there.
What do you mean? As far as the Saints
as far as the 49ers and the Bears. Anyways.
We'll get there. Anyways, I'm going to go, just because I want to be different, I'm going 28-17 Rams. Being extra crazy here. Next up, the Seahawks are going to San Francisco to play the 49ers. Ben, I have a high horse to get on, but I'll get on it a little bit here, but it's okay. Go ahead.
All right, and I have, again, right after this segment, we're going to go over our overreactions, and that's when we'll really dig into each other there.
I think we're digging in a lot sooner than you think. But
piss poor in the second half of that game. I mean, the only reason they won was because the Broncos lost.
Nathaniel Hackett sucks as a head coach, and everybody knew it.
I want to say, me and you called that. I'm just saying.
Yeah. You heard it here, folks. This podcast right here, you're listening to it. History is made. Whatever. Anyways.
It's really tough to evaluate this Niners team just because Lance didn't look good, but I do think the weather had a huge impact in that game of the Niners winning 24-17.
24-17, is that what you said?
Yes.
Give me just a second. Okay. Sorry. Anyways, fantasy stuff going on right here, and I might just have a trade that I have to announce. Anyways. All right. So okay, Seahawks and 49ers. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and say it. 49ers are going to win. 49ers obviously, but it's going to be tighter cuz I'm on the Geno Smith hype train.
They wrote me off, but I didn't write back.
I love that. All right. Bengals at Cowboys. Go for it.
Oh, no, like I said, I think Joe Burrow is going to bounce back. This Cowboys team did not look good. Dak is out. Looks even worse. I think the Bengals are going to pretty handedly take the Cowboys here in a game that's going to be like 27-10.
27-10 Bengals?
Yes.
All right. Next up. Oh, no. My turn, obviously.
Yeah, your turn.
I'm going to go with 31. That's achievable. Yeah, that's achievable. To 13 Bengals here. Joe Burrow didn't look good, but this is his rebound game against a pretty decent secondary as well. So Texans at Broncos.
I do think Bronco Countries figures it out a little bit in this game. We're going to go with 24-20 Broncos Country.
All right. 24-20. Yeah, no, I'll go ahead and say it. I think that's a fair score prediction. Mainly because the Texans look pretty good. I mean, Lovie Smith, man.
Yeah. He looked better than I thought.
Lovey. Anyways, I don't think we explained that inside joke to people, but it's fine. Probably for the best. Anyways, so between these two, I have it a little bit. I guess I have it a little bit farther apart, but it's not going to do the Texans any justice. I have 27-17 Broncos, so it's still a 10-point game. Texans, they're moving up a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Anyways, Cardinals at Raiders.
Because the score prediction doesn't matter, just like you said last week. Raiders by 1,000.
All right. I'm going to put 99-0 Raiders
By
here.
99-0 Raiders. I don't have to explain myself to you guys. Don't want to gloat too hard. It was week 1. We don't know where stuff is going. But, boy, is me being low on the Cardinals looking real good right now. And, yeah, they're going to continue to stink it up. Don't you do it. You did this last week, and it turned out piss poor for you. This is not going to happen again. You're looking stupid if you decide to do what I think you're about to do.
27-26 Cardinals.
How did that work out last week?
This is a Kyler Murray vengeance game here. I love it. I love this pick, but I love this next one even more. Sunday Night Football, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest rivalry of all sports. Bears at Green Bay Packers. Dear God, let me get on my high horse here just a little bit. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you go
We're going to
first,
talk about
brother.
this right now because I'm impatient and I don't want
I'm not. I'm going to wait. I'm waiting until after this. You can go
Dear
ahead and talk
God,
about it,
did the
though.
Bears impress me?
Yeah.
But I wasn't surprised. I said it, and I said it over and over and over and over again. And nobody listened to me. In fact, I got clowned on Twitter by thousands of people with likes.
Because what
with
you said was
retweets,
an absolute joke
and
belongs in the
everybody
circus.
misunderstood exactly what I was trying to say. Ladies and gentlemen, if you weren't paying attention, if you didn't follow my Twitter for whatever reason, first off, you should. Second off, I said if Trubisky made the playoffs in 2018 with Josh Bellamy, Javon Wims, Taylor Gabriel, Anthony Miller, Kevin White, and Allen Robinson for wide receivers, and Nagy as his head coach, Justin Fields can make the playoff with Darnell Mooney, Velus Jones Jr., Equinemius St. Brown, Byron Pringle, and Dante Pettis. I didn't say a single thing about defense. I didn't say that it was better. I didn't say that it was worse. Everybody clowned me for saying that this defense was better, even though I didn't say that. This defense is going to be the thing that people are underestimating. You get that off my screen. I'm removing that. This defense is what people are not paying attention to, and that is why I am saying people need to pay more attention. I have told you, I have told the podcast, I have told Twitter, I have told our group chat, I have told my softball team that I play for. This team is a lot stronger than people think, and they are not a bottom 5 roster. I promise you. They will be top 20 at the end of the year. And this Patriots team that everybody was going crazy about at the beginning of the year, saying that, oh my God, the Bears aren't beating the Patriots by a landslide. There's no way. By the way, that will happen. And when it does, I'm just going to sit here and tell you I told you so. Because when we were doing schedule predictions, you disagreed with me. And you said Mac Jones was going to be better than Justin Fields. Don't believe me? Listen back to it. I promise you. How about that Justin Fields? How about that coaching staff that actually knows how to
Justin Fields?
How about, showing up when there's literally no help on offense, despite Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet being your best receivers, and David Montgomery taking a dump on offense? This guy sucks now. Not sure what his problem is. I think he could potentially go up against the Packers. However, I don't think it's happening. When it comes to this Bears and Packers matchup, I am panicked for Aaron Rodgers. He is a very talented quarterback that has absolutely no help. Justin Fields is along the same exact lines. This Packers defense is pretty good, except it got torched last week, and now its tail is tucked between its legs. It's time for an ego booster. I'm a huge fan of my Bears. I'm a huge hater against the Packers. This week it's not happening. I'm giving the Packers the win here. But we will split this season, and I promise you that will happen. I'm taking the Packers in a close one, 23-20.
20-24 Packers.
Thank you for giving us a little bit more props. Okay, it's all right. I'm not picking the Bears to win this game.
We'll get to how I thought Justin Fields and the Bears played.
Monday Night Football. We have 2 games. Titans are going to the Bills.
Oh, by the way, I hate this 2-game format. This is trash.
This
I don't
is
know why
garbage.
they started doing this. Is
When
garbage.
I saw this, I was like, what are we doing here? This is not good. Bills and Titans, I'm saying Bills by 100.
Yeah, I can get behind that sentiment. Bills by 100. Derrick Henry did not look like himself. It was a shame. The Bills win this. Realistically, I feel like a good prediction for this is probably like a 30. I don't know how the math works out here. Like, give me a second.
I'm saying 34. I'm saying 34-17.
31. We're gonna say 31-20. Yeah.
Okay. Fair. Vikings and Eagles. Oh my God, this is great. This is my NFC Championship preview.
I don't like this game.
I love this game. Well, I mean, you won't like this game, but
Yeah.
I want to hear your thoughts.
No, I think Jalen Hurts looked a lot better. We talked about this in me, you, and Matt's group chat. I think Jalen Hurts looks like he took a big leap forward this year. His the mental side of his game is awesome. He doesn't turn over the ball. There's a lot of plays where you'd see a lot of quarterbacks make a stupid mistake where he just doesn't do that. Dude's calm, cool, and collected. AJ Brown looked phenomenal. I mean, we talked about this before. I think the Vikings, we talked about this on the podcast. I think the people were kind of sleeping on the Vikings, and I think the Vikings kind of showed people last week that they're the real deal here. I think this is going to be a close one. I'm going to go with a 27-30 Vikings.
All right, 27-30. Oh my God, did Justin Jefferson look good, man?
Oh my God, I know.
He looked like fantasy god. This was fantasy football
did.
god for week 1. Justin Jefferson was that unstoppable force that was just driving the Vikings. But what people aren't talking about that I think is very much going to happen this week is a Dalvin Cook spotlight. Maybe not a spotlight, but a moment where he will get the spotlight.
I agree with that sentiment. The Eagles, that's the one bad thing that the Eagles did last week was their run defense was horrific. That De'Aaron Swift thing that I've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, how I thought he was going to be real good, turned out to be true. The Eagles' run defense just looked terrible. Again, I'm still a little bit concerned about Dalvin Cook in the whole grand scheme of things, just because of this fit in that offense and them wanting to be a pass-heavy team. But the thing is if they continue throwing the ball as well as they do in the fourth quarter, they're just going to run the ball to, run out the clock and stuff. But I just think Dalvin Cook is going to carve up specifically this Eagles defense. I wouldn't be surprised if we look back on this in 17 weeks from now and say this was his best game.
I'm going to say 36-27 Vikings. It's going to be a down week for Eagles, but
that's okay. Yeah, I'm expecting it.
You're going to get them back when it matters.
Yeah, okay. I agree. I'm sorry. We're going to push right into this next one. Overreactions. I can't deal with you right now. I mean, you've had a conversation on the phone, and I cannot deal with the aura that you're emitting through the phone about your Bears. I can't stand it.
Hold on a minute.
The Bears
don't act like I wasn't right. Don't act like I wasn't right.
You guys won the game. You didn't look good. You guys didn't. Justin Fields didn't even have above 50% completion rating. So I don't want to hear it.
Hardly threw the ball.
Look good, and he threw up. You guys didn't look good, and that's my point too. The weather was terrible. You guys did not lose the game. You guys didn't win the game. It's the same thing that happened there in the Seahawks and Broncos game. You guys didn't win the game. The other team just lost the game. You guys didn't look good. I'm going to be honest. Pretty much the only bright. You guys' defense looked fine, given it was in the rain, and Trey Lance looked terrible. Like I said, 49ers lost the game. I will say Brisker looked good, and Dominique Robinson looked good.
Yes.
And I did tell you privately, Dominique Robinson was a toolsy guy, and if he can get developed, he can look good. And
you said he was a boomer bust guy, and he is very much booming right now.
He's very much booming. But I can't stand it right now. I understand the Bears won. Again, you better enjoy it. I really don't think it's going to be much better for you guys. I have you guys probably going 3 or 4 wins on the season. I think your guys' start to the season looks really, really good. And I wouldn't be surprised if you guys win like 2 or 3 more games right now with the first like 6 games of the season, and then only win 1 more down the stretch of the season. The weather was terrible. The 49ers played terrible. It was really just a matter of who played less terrible. And it just so happened that the Bears played less terrible.
Okay, here's the thing. I'm sorry that the 49ers weren't as disciplined as the Bears, but that has been exactly what the Bears have been focusing on this whole offseason. As far as Eberflus and what his tempo is when his practice is and everything. Don't believe me? I've seen it with my own eyes. When it comes down to the Bears and 49ers and the weather, when people say the weather played a huge role into it,
did.
People are acting like the Bears weren't playing in that game too. The thing is, the Bears
play
had
in
to deal with the
Chicago,
weather
they
again.
play in the Sunshine State.
Oh my God, dude. Okay, so when the 49ers beat the Packers in a blizzard, that didn't matter despite the fact that the Lombardi or the Green Bay Stadium is literally called
bad, though.
It's literally called the frozen tundra over there in Green Bay. Do not tell me that the 49ers can't play in that. If you can't play in bad weather, you're not going. That's a terrible way to say that they lost the game because of weather, dude.
You're telling me that didn't play a big part into the game. That absolutely played a huge part into the game.
Dude, I'm saying obviously, but the thing is, if you're a good team, you can make adjustments on that. Nobody could scheme that during the week.
Good. That's what I'm saying. You guys didn't play like
but it wasn't because of the weather. It wasn't because of the weather. Everybody's sitting here saying that it's because of the weather. It's not because of what the Bears did. It's not because of the defense shutting Debo down. It wasn't because of the turnovers. Dude, I had him in fantasy, bro. Look at his stats. The man was trash. He didn't do anything. He had 1 touchdown because of our mistake on a turnover. I sat here and I watched the film after the game, bro. He didn't do anything. He got shut down. The only reason why he scored that touchdown is because
he had a touchdown. He didn't even score a touchdown.
Maybe that one got called back.
I guess it got called back. Again, I think the weather had so much more of a part than, and it's okay to be hopefully optimistic. Okay, as an Eagles fan, I understand the hopefully optimisticness. I really don't think you guys looked good. You guys, and you can't the defense. You guys had bright spots on the defense, no doubt. Your guys' running game looked awful. And that's just how it is. You guys' running team didn't look good. And honestly, the times you guys scored was off turnovers by the Niners. And like I said, the Niners sucked.
It wasn't, though.
It was.
It wasn't, though. Dude, okay, so that, what was it, Dante Pettis? That huge pass wasn't because the 49ers screwed up on defense.
No, that's one.
We left him wide open.
Yeah,
that's the 49ers screwing up on defense. That's 1 touchdown. The other one was so the Bears
and they turned over the ball, and then the Niners turned over the ball as well, and you guys scored off that.
Okay, so the 49ers had 2. Okay, Debo had 1 touchdown on the whole day, by the way. He had 1.
Oh, look at his stats. It says 0. It's probably because it was just his rushing stats. Or just his pass.
He had one rushing touchdown. Debo had 8 carries. 8 carries for 52 yards and 1 touchdown. So he averaged 6.5. That's pretty good. Solid.
Yeah.
But for passing, 2 catches for 14 yards.
Because Trey Lance couldn't pass the ball and the 49ers looked like terrible. All right. So you guys scored 19 points. 2 of your touchdowns came off of Niners mistakes.
We forced Trey Lance to play quarterback.
Good teams do capitalize on mistakes. And I mean, I can't poop on you guys for scoring because the other team's bad. I'm just not saying you guys looked good. I just don't think you guys did. I just think the Niners looked worse.
Dude, the fact of the matter is Trey Lance can't play quarterback. He can't.
Exactly. He did not look good. Exactly.
When that was part of his game plan. And so when you scheme against a rookie, okay, I'm calling him a rookie, but like mainly because he didn't play last year. If you scheme against a rookie quarterback that hasn't thrown more than 400 passes since his high school days, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle as that quarterback. Okay, you look at Justin Fields. He went 8 for 17, not really good. But the thing is like, he threw that 1 interception. That was a horrible interception. But the thing is, he also threw 2 passing touchdowns. That one pass to Equinemius St. Brown, great pass.
Pick up
Whether or
Dawson
not
Knox.
people
Sorry.
what?
Continue.
So whether people like it or not, Justin Fields was able to throw the ball. Trey Lance wasn't. Sorry about it. It's the 49ers' mistake. It's not that the Bears suck. It's because the 49ers.
You're right. The 49ers effing blew that game.
It's because Trey Lance can't throw the ball. That's it. And it's not because of the weather.
But that's my point, though, is the Niners were not good. You guys just sucked less than the Niners. That's kind of what I've been trying to say.
Dude, we were able to counter on the 49ers' mistakes, and it wasn't primarily. Awesome. But the thing that you said right afterwards was mainly the weather played effect into, like, it was the huge point. The weather was bad. So what? But the thing is, the Bears played well in the weather. Why couldn't the 49ers?
Because the Niners played like trash. I mean, my point. Take the weather out of it. I do think the weather played a portion in it. But again, at the end of the day,
as far as game planning for both teams, yes, I will give you that.
But also it's way harder to throw a football and catch a football. You know that.
Somehow Justin Fields did it pretty well.
He threw for under 50% completions. That's not well at all.
Okay, but how many of those were drop passes because of the rain?
I understand exactly, but the weather didn't play a good part.
Here's the thing.
You're proving my point.
I said in game planning and everything like that, that is I can give you that. But the thing is,
you just said they dropped the ball because of the rain.
I know you're not understanding what I'm saying. Look, I understand that the weather played a little bit, but it's not the reason why the Bears won.
Yeah, the reason the Bears won is because the Niners played like trash.
It's because they played like trash, and the Bears capitalized on it because they were the better team.
So
on paper, the Bears are not the better team.
No.
On paper, the Bears are like awful. But the thing is, the Bears made the most out of a crappy situation for Chicago.
Yeah.
And 49ers did not capitalize on that. They played lower than their competition. They sucked.
Agreed.
And as a result, that's why they won. That's the point that I was trying to make because we were talking, for those listening about it, we had a conversation, and I don't think, because it was over text, I don't think that we were properly understanding what each other were saying. I think Justin Fields' stat line would have looked a lot better had his receivers been able to catch the ball. I think Trey Lance, I think he looks stiff. I'm sorry about it. I said it in the preseason. I'm a little worried about him. That's why they restructured Jimmy Garoppolo's contract. It's obvious that they are worried about him too. I think that's why, this is an issue. Deebo Samuel had a disappointing day. He had a fumble. He had a touchdown, don't get me wrong, but he had a fumble. Whose fault was that? It wasn't Deebo's. It was because he had a firm grip on the ball. Jalen Johnson punched it out. Jalen Johnson punched it out, though. It wasn't that, he was holding it. Jalen Johnson peanut punched it out of his arm. Jaquan Brisker fell on it. It wasn't that he bobbled it because the gloves weren't sticking.
I know, but I'm saying it's going to slip out easier because of the rain. As a center, I have a firm grip on the ball and it slips out. Again, I understand the weather. Like, again, I obviously I think the weather. You're trying to say the weather didn't play a huge part. I would push back a little bit on that. But again, at the end of the day, the point I was trying to get across is the Niners just sucked, and you guys sucked less than the Niners. So, but again, I think we could talk about this all day. I think we should probably,
because I didn't finish my high horse earlier. I think looking at the growth that they made going into this game. This is why, and I'm picking the Packers. Don't get me wrong. I think going in with this momentum is exactly why the Bears have a chance to win against the Packers this weekend. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm seeing your comments here. We are getting to Fantasyland. Let's do Fantasyland after overreactions. Okay, let's just do that.
I would agree. Okay, so guys, real quick, we have like 5 more minutes left in the segment. And we'll get to the fantasy talk here in a second.
Let me just go through mine really quick. People say the Colts suck. I say give them a little bit more time. Matt Ryan's still molding. I was right about the Chargers. It's hard not to be. They look really good this year. Yeah. People are saying that the Chiefs are like going to the Super Bowl. They're that good. No, They've got a tough road ahead of them. Okay, tough schedule. Cardinals just aren't that team. People are saying the Cowboys are going to secure a top 10 pick in the draft. And when I say people, I mean you. I think the Cowboys are going to be all right. They're going to be that middle of the pack team, but it's not going to be a top 10 pick in the draft. That's a little bit of an overreaction. When it comes to the Bears being a threat, they're not a threat yet. They don't have the pieces yet. It's okay. I'll admit it. But you should maybe be a little worried about that defense because it looked pretty good. Dominique Robinson is a force to be reckoned with now. Robert Quinn is a force to be reckoned with now. I mean, they watch the film, they capitalize on mistakes, everything like that. They're a good football team. They're professionals. That's what they do. And then you have Travis Gibson coming off the bench in a NASCAR formation as well as Al-Qadim Muhammad. This isn't necessarily on paper great, but at the same exact time, they're doing a pretty solid job. And there's still Roquan Smith to worry about. Eddie Jackson, is he back? There's a question to be made. What are your overreactions?
Real quick, final Bears point. Again, I won't pick you guys to win a lot of games. Again, I think you guys probably win 4-ish games on the season. I will say, though, you guys are a team to watch out for an upset each and every week because you guys just do it's the nature of the city. You guys just grind and grind and grind and grind and grind and grind.
Sure.
So I won't have you guys win a lot of games, but I think you guys are always, some team to watch out as far as upsets. Bills are winning the Super Bowl. It's overreaction first week. Obviously, we're allowed to overreact like this, but I really, like we said all offseason, this Bills team is phenomenal, awesome roster. I want to toot my own horn here. Cardinals looked terrible. I was right. I've been trying to tell everyone all offseason the Cardinals were going to be trash, and here we are. They were trash. People need to calm down about the Packers. Okay, the Packers lost horrifically.
Oh my God!
Last year to the Saints.
People love the Packers for some reason. They look like dog trash, dude.
Okay,
literally.
Steps. And did they not last year? Did they not look trash last year, dude?
Week one, yes, but it's a different story. What do they have this year that the Packers don't? Okay, look.
I'm not going to say they're going to be as good as what they were last year, but people are saying they're going to be trash. They played trash last year at the start of week one. I don't think they're going to be as good as last year, but I don't think they're going to be bad. I don't think they're going to play like this for the rest of the season.
They're middle of the pack.
Yeah.
No pun intended. For the love of God, though, I mean, stop putting them top 10 in your power rankings. They're not top 10.
I could see them sneaking in as a wild card team.
Maybe, but they're not top 10. Stop that.
I could see him. I could see the Packers sneaking in as wild card team. Texans, maybe they're not as bad as we all thought. My last one, 2 words. I'll leave it at that. AJ Brown.
Brown. Yeah. Here's my overreaction, and I'll let you get on your high horse and listen then. Because you're going to hate this. Last one. For people waiting, promise. Eagles were underwhelming as
a defense.
As a whole.
The offense killed it. The offense put up the second most points scored literally all week.
I was
expecting see second most points.
I was expecting
You're expecting them to have the second best offense?
I was expecting them to put up a lot more points on the Lions.
You projected them to have less than what they actually scored.
Watching the game, I was like, wow, this is...
They could not be stopped, is what it was. After the first drive, go back, they literally couldn't be stopped. The team, every single drive outside of the first one, and then when they were running out the clock, they looked awesome. I'm pushed back. Their defense looked terrible. They couldn't tackle. But outside of their first drive and their last one, when they were running out the clock, I had no complaints. I think our punter punted twice the entire game. Our offense looked really good again, second highest scoring offense in the entire league. But they gave up, the third most high scoring offense to the Lions. The defense didn't look good. I think it was a tackling issue or the worst tackling defense in the entire league. I just think it's a matter of knocking off rust.
I think anyways, yeah.
Another trip to Fantasyland.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with Fantasyland. Hopefully within the next few minutes I'll have an announcement to make. But
Hopefully.
let's start with risers and fallers. Ben, why don't you give us a holler?
Or do you want to do
Let's do
risers or
risers.
fallers, or do you want to get to these questions real quick?
Oh yes, yeah. Questions.
Don't leave the
of course.
people we.
So somebody dropped Knox in my league. Is he a must pick up? There's also Hurst, Albert O, and some others.
Yeah, don't get Dawson Knox. It's not. I understand the hype
Dawson
behind
Knox-
Albert O.
Yeah.
I
Albert O
understand the
is-
hype behind Albert O. But we know what Dawson Knox is. Again, he had a little bit of a down week, but it's a tight end position. You can't expect them to be scoring 20 points every week. Knox is a perfectly fine pickup. I would be fine with starting him if I had to. I think Knox is safe. I think you can go with Knox. I really wouldn't worry about it. I think he's good. I think if you have the opportunity to pick him up, I think people are overestimating kind of what Albert O is going to be. I think he's going to be fine. But let's be honest, the Bills have the best offense in the entire league. You can't go wrong with taking any of their players.
Next question. Half PPR, Waddle, Gabe Davis, or Michael Thomas to start one? Is there a flex position?
Yeah, there's always a flex.
I'm just saying,
tough.
like,
Yeah.
who do you have at your flex that you're not wanting to put, but that you're putting over these guys? Because every single one of these guys is a great flex.
Fade Gabe Davis, though. It's really between Waddle and Thomas. I love Gabe Davis. He started. He put up 18 points.
If you can move one of these guys to your wide receiver 2 and then
But the
put one at flex, do that. I would say give me Waddle. I like Waddle. It's either Waddle.
No,
I like Waddle or Gabe Davis. I'm not a Michael Thomas guy.
I think Michael Thomas killed it. Well, and if it's half PPR too, it's reception based, which is going to be awesome in terms of Michael Thomas.
Makes sense.
I would go with Michael Thomas. I just think he has I think he had 86% of the target share in that offense. It's absurd. He has a lot of that target share, and even if he doesn't score a touchdown, just him catching the ball and getting those yards is going to be fine. I think you go with Michael Thomas. If you can put Jalen Waddle in that flex position, I absolutely would. The Ravens defense is really good, so that's just kind of my deciding factor of putting Michael Thomas over Waddle. But honestly, you couldn't go wrong with either of them.
All right. Risers and fallers. The announcement still isn't in. So, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead
I got
and
4 risers and fallers for you, but if you want to go first.
I have 3 risers and 3 fallers. I'll go ahead and start with my risers. Darrell Henderson Jr. pretty much took the job from Cam Akers. Officially, today, took the job. Love Darrell Henderson. Projected about 16 points this week. Slap him in at your flex if you can. But definitely, dang it. Sorry. Definitely slap him in at your flex if you can. If you need a running back too, he's a solid pickup if you can. So Darrell Henderson is a riser. I'm putting him here, even though he had high expectations. You have to say Saquon Barkley. He is quite honestly the number 1 running back in the whole fantasy thing right now, the whole fantasy situation. Jonathan Taylor is, not that guy right now. Over Saquon.
Jonathan Taylor was a second.
He's great.
Yeah,
he's great. No, don't get me wrong. Jonathan Taylor, way more reliable than Saquon. But after week 1, Saquon's better than Jonathan Taylor, and better in air quotes if you're listening to this later. Saquon scored more points. Saquon has an easier schedule for the next, I think, 2 weeks. I like Saquon. And then how about Jerry Jeudy 2 nights ago? Taking over the offense. We talked about this slightly. He is tearing it up.
The thing about Jerry Jeudy, it goes back to the Robbie Anderson thing. People are like, pick up Robbie. I hope you don't have Robbie Anderson on this list. But people are like, pick up Robbie Anderson. It was a one play thing. I think Jerry Jeudy's fine, but he had 4 catches. And all of his points came on one play. I think Jerry Jeudy is good, and I think he shows why he could be fighting for the wide receiver 1 reps with Sutton. I think it was a one play thing, though. My opinion.
My fallers, I have him in my other league, Damian Pierce. Unfortunately, I couldn't move him before week 1 because it seems like his trade value was at an all-time high then. He crapped the bed in week 1. Not to say that he's not
I don't think
going
he
to
did. I
succeed
just think
later.
Rex Burkhead just played better.
Let's see. And then Allen Robinson, I mean, obviously, he had a little bit higher expectations than what he did.
Oh, yeah.
Man, he is just looking like he's just collecting a paycheck. But and then Aaron Jones. So
yeah, the whole Allen Robinson thing was funny because everyone was like, he was playing in this terrible offense in Chicago, and now he's going to go here and he's going to light it up. And I do think he's going to be better here in LA, but it was just funny to see like everyone overreacting to how well he's going to be, switching from this awful Chicago scheme and switching from Justin Fields to Matthew Stafford. Now he's going to be amazing. And then him coming and throwing up a stinker in week 1.
All right. Well, who do you have for your risers and fallers?
Yeah, as far as risers, I have Cordell Patterson. We're not going to go over everything here in the podcast, but in terms of fantasy, I was pretty spot on every single thing I've said so far. Besides this Cordell Patterson thing, Cordell Patterson looks very, very good. Again, if you have him, start him. You'd be stupid not to. AJ Dillon's a riser. I think he's taking the RB1 spot, like slowly taking that from Aaron Jones, which is a little scary. We just talked about him just a little bit ago, but Michael Thomas, I think he's going to get just the farm's share of receptions there. And then Jahan Dotson. I was able to pick him up, which was phenomenal. I just think he looked really good and looked like he really had the connection there with Wentz. As far as fallers, we actually have 2 in common. I had Damian Pierce and Aaron Jones on this list. I don't really have to talk much about Aaron Jones because we just talked about A.J. Dillon. Damian Pierce, I don't think Damian Pierce played bad per se. I just think Rex Burkhead kind of was the RB1 in those passing situations. And all we heard all offseason was Damian Pierce was RB1, and it doesn't look like that just quite yet. As far as the other 2 followers, I have Breece Hall. I just think Michael Carter's clearly the RB1 in that backfield, and he's catching the ball. Breece Hall didn't play very well. And then as it hurts for me to say, CeeDee Lamb, he didn't look bad per se. He just didn't get a lot of targets in week 1. And then you add on top of the fact that his starting quarterback is gone for at least 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah. So I think is that it? That's all you got?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if people want to, it was pretty short. If people want to comment stuff, like just throughout, I mean, go for it. We'll touch on it a little bit. We're not going to spend too much time on it, but.
All right, let's see. NFL award predictions is our next thing. We promised it last week.
Yes.
So I want you to go for it first. And then I will talk to you about mine. So go for it.
Yeah. So we put these out both on our Twitter last week as well. Go and follow us. Our handles are on the screen. I have one tweak to what it was, but again, everything else on this list we put out before the season started. And for the most part, I feel pretty confident what I have. For MVP, Josh Allen, pretty self-explanatory. Justin Jefferson for Offensive Player of the Year. I really don't feel like I have to explain that at all. I feel really confident with that one. A little bit bolder and out there pick for Defensive Player of the Year. I went with Nick Bosa. What do you have, a sack on you guys?
I think so, yeah. I can double check that for you, though.
It's a shame. I wish he would have played better, but yeah, Nick Bosa. This is the one I changed. I originally had CMC here, but for Comeback Player of the Year, I had Lamar Jackson. He just looked really, really good. And then the Rookies of the Year is where it gets tough. For Offensive Rookie of the Year, I said Damian Pierce. Again, we did this before the season started. And then for Defensive Rookie of the Year, I kind of want to go with out of the box pick. I haven't seen anyone do this pick. I was really high on him coming out of college. We're gonna go with Devin Lloyd. I just think he's gonna be a tackling machine. No one really talks about it, and I just like Devin Lloyd. And then for Coach of the Year, we have Staley, Brandon Staley, Chargers head coach. I just think that the Chargers are gonna do good, and people are gonna be like, "Hey, Chargers are good. Let's put Brandon Staley, Coach of the Year." Him or Sean McDermott, but we had to decide, so we did Brandon Staley.
For mine, I had two choices for MVP just because, you can. As of right now, it's leaning one side than the other. My MVP pick
Geno
is
Smith.
no. Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow. Offensive player of the year is Josh Allen. Just kind of like a runner-up. It's going to be between these three for MVP this year, though. Defensive player of the year, Micah Parsons or one of the Watts, TJ, I think I had, but Micah Parsons is going to be my guy. Offensive rookie of the year, didn't have a great week 1 showing, but I think he's going to bounce back easily. Week 1 jitters for a rookie gets to him. Christian Watson. Defensive player of the year is Aiden Hutchinson. Don't wince at Christian Watson. He had one bad week.
I love Christian Watson coming out of college. Again, I led the Christian Watson hype train, but he has
a back-to-back MVP throwing in the ball. He'll be okay. Aiden Hutchinson at defensive rookie of the year. Comeback player of the year is Brian Robinson. How do you get shot and then come back like a couple weeks later and then end up, here's the storyline that I have. Okay. Brian Robinson comes back, starts playing, does a pretty solid job. Brian Robinson. Then coach of the year is O'Connell. Minnesota looks great. So
this is where it gets fun. The Brian Robinson thing is fun. I don't really think. I think even if he comes back, I don't really think he has a chance of winning it. But then, the question is could we consider him even in the comeback player of the year? Because most of the time, comeback player of the year is someone who got hurt last year, didn't play very well last year. But he didn't play very well. Comeback player of the year is someone who didn't play very well last year or got hurt last year. And Brian Robinson's a rookie. It's kind of hard to give comeback player of the year to a rookie.
Still, I'm still confident. Next up, I mean O'Connell for my coaching pick. I just wanted to go over that. I think that's more than fair. But since we're a little short on time, I still want to hit on your college corner. So, without further ado, let's go ahead.
Pro football isn't the only game in town. Let's take a stroll to Ben's College Corner.
All right. So, Ben, what do you have to talk to us about?
All right. So, wow, we are going to just try to have a whole lot of touching points here, but we're just going to kind of go over them and not really go in depth just due to time. As far as this past week of football, that Bama-Texas game was really, really fun to watch. Super enjoyable. I think there was 17 million people listening. It really came down to the edge of the wire. Like I said, at the first College Corner, Scott Frost needed to be fired. Would you look at that? Scott Frost got fired. They actually had to pay him $15 million. He coached so bad that they couldn't even wait until October 1st. If they waited until October 1st, his buyout would only have been 7.5. But he coached so bad that they sucked it up and wasn't going to wait the month and had the buyout of $15 million. And boy, was there a whole lot of upsets this week. App State beat Texas A&M. This one was really fun, especially from the area we're from. Marshall beat Notre Dame.
Oh my God.
That was super, super fun to go over.
We talked about
this. We talked about this game last week on College Corner in terms of games to look forward to, the Florida versus Kentucky. Kentucky ended up winning. It was an upset. It wasn't crazy. I think Florida was 12. Kentucky was 24. Kentucky took that. Awesome. In terms of that game, Anthony Richardson, there's a whole lot of hype going into in this game. Anthony Richardson did not play it up to the hype. It was a little bit disappointing, but he still has the attributes there. And as far as just two players that I like, Jordan Addison, we've talked about him, or at least I've talked about him before the podcast. He is the wide receiver out of USC, went to Pitt last year. Pretty sure he won the Biletnikoff Award for best receiver in the nation. And he's picked up right where it off. I think he has 255 yards through 2 games. As far as a sleeper in that is Tennessee's wide receiver, Cedric Tillman. I can already tell you right now, as everyone knows, height, weight, speed guy. Cedric Tillman is 6'4", plays for Tennessee. Absolutely in love with the guy. And just as far as 2 games to look forward to this next week, there's not a lot of games that are crazy, but I have 2 for you guys here. That's Miami, which is a ranked team, and A&M, Texas A&M, which is still also a ranked team. You hopefully look to see Texas A&M to take that step forward and bounce back there. And in terms of other ranked team, the other game to watch, I have the BYU Cougars versus the Oregon Ducks. Oregon disappointed, obviously, in week 1. BYU's quarterback looks to make a push this week and kind of put his name more into the national media. But it'll be another fun week of college football, and I cannot wait to talk to you guys about it again next week.
All right, so that'll do it for Ben's College Corner. But I mean, I just wanted to just say, roll Tide, I guess. Just kidding. Anyways, yeah, that's funny. Just because if you know me, I'm an Ohio State fan. My dad's a huge Alabama, Crimson Tide. So
Well, you're an Ohio State fan?
just a little bit, Ladies and gentlemen,
It's time for America's favorite game, Weddle.
there it is.
I
There it
almost
is.
cheated ourselves out of this.
Yeah, wow. I mean, you almost blew it for us. You want to explain that really
Almost.
quick while I
Yeah,
get
so for like people who, I mean, obviously, I think at this point, if you guys made it this far, you guys understand how Weddle works. But like Weddle is something I like to do on my free time, anyways. So I was sitting in one of my classes, stuff was getting just horrendously boring. I'm like, let's do some Weddle, not realizing that it was Wednesday. So I went into I started it, and as you guys all know at this point, AJ Brown was my first pick. Type in AJ Brown, and I'm like, oh shoot, can't do that, can we?
Well, with that being said, I think because of that, thank you for your honesty, but because of that, we got to throw AJ Brown in there as your first pick, and then it's my turn. You've already seen the numbers. It's fine. I appreciate you stopping though. So it's obvious that he's in the AFC. He's not a wide receiver.
He has to be a running back unless he's like Kyler Murray or something. But Kyler Murray is in the NFC. So
Javonte Williams.
Oh boy, did Javonte look phenomenal.
He did.
Height.
Okay, so
Devin
just
Singletary.
No, it's okay. So Devin Singletary. All right.
Ooh, he's shorter than I thought.
For those that are listening later on, he is in either the AFC North or the AFC South. He is a running back that is approximately, I'm going to say 6 foot probably 6 foot. He is slightly older than 25, and his number is just over 26 at some point. So that would throw that out. I'm going Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, the number adds up. I think it's
There we go. All right, cool. Solution. All right, cool. So your pick here.
Yeah. By the way, 8'5" me.
Say that again? Oh yes, 8'5".
Is it 8'5" me or 9'5" me?
8'5".
All right, 8'5" me. Wow, I've been on like a 6-game win streak here, Ryan. Step up the game. It's just like stealing candy from a baby. Come on, you got this, bud. I believe in you.
Okay.
AJ Brown, as we always do.
NFC East right off the bat. He's not in Philly.
No. I really hope for the 3rd week in a row that he was in Philadelphia.
Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm negotiating a trade, and we're working on it. Anyways.
I really hope you guys can break this trade. Is it for the player who I think it's for?
Who do you think it's for?
I don't want to throw our fantasy discussions out there.
He doesn't play for the Vikings, if that's what you're talking about.
Does he play for the Chargers?
Potentially.
Okay.
Anyways. NFC East, what's his okay.
Love to pick your value for him afterwards, by the way. Anyways.
Thinking numbers here. I'm going Sterling Shepard. He's taller. What am I thinking? Your turn.
Kenny Galladay.
Dude, I swear to God. Oh, okay.
It
cool.
is.
He's not a
No
giant.
way.
He's not a giant. Why
Oh, I
didn't
didn't even see that.
you?
Oh,
CD.
No.
He plays for Dallas.
It's Michael Gallup.
I swear to God.
Oh shit.
Okay,
I
so
was so
what we
close.
have revealed.
Oh, I know who it is. There's no way you know who it is.
He's 6'3".
Yeah, I'll tell you, he's a wide receiver. He came out of Stanford.
He's not a wide receiver.
Oh,
He's not a wide receiver.
I was gonna say it was Semiafoco, but I don't know why we keep on guessing wide receivers. I'm just not with it today. This Red Bull really didn't work.
Who's taller? I mean,
Well, it has to be a tight end.
yeah. So Alton Schultz. No,
A running back.
there's no way their running backs are taller. Whatever. Okay.
Can't be Miles Pollard. All right. Well, I mean, just to get it out of the way, we'll do Tony Pollard.
Tony Pollard. All right. I'm going
Quarterback.
back.
Oh no. It has. Oh,
No.
Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush.
No way.
It wasn't Dak. I know it wasn't Dak. It has to be Cooper Rush.
Come on. Come
What was
on.
that? 7 Pete? 7 Pete?
Whatever, dude. That is
baby.
so crap,
Better
bro.
Jordan. Dude, you should have known by the height it wasn't him.
Dude, I just saw the age and was like,
It was too obvious. There's no way it was going to be Dak Prescott on hard.
all right, Gridiron Goofs. What we're doing,
Gridiron
I
Goofs.
still haven't
Love
announced it to
this.
you. Most overrated movies.
What? We're not going to do mine?
What was yours? What was yours?
Fruit.
Fruit? Yes, fruit. Most overrated fruit?
No, just fruit in general.
It's fruit. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Fruit.
No,
Oh, yeah. We'll do fruit?
feeling fruity. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wait. Hold on a minute. We have these for a reason.
What's the name of the segment? Oh, you're not talking about Ryan and Ben? Oh, okay. Well, hold on. I've got it. It's time for Gridiron Goofs.
All right.
God,
so
that is my favorite one. I
so
love that one.
fruit.
That's my favorite one.
So who has first pick?
I don't care. You can go first.
I picked first, so it's yours. Yeah, so it's yours.
Oh, okay. Well,
What's the best fruit?
my best fruit isn't going to be what other people's best fruit is. So we're not going to go with my best fruit first. And we'll go with my favorite. Why not? Peaches.
Peaches. All right.
Love a good peach.
Don't take this in a weird way.
Freaking love fruit, guys.
Nana.
Ew, I'm actually hot take. Bananas
like
are
it.
trash. I don't like bananas unless it's in a smoothie. I'm just gonna be honest. Not it. Grapes. Yeah, grapes.
Oranges.
Ooh, tough. Okay, cuties. Are cuties lumped into the oranges category?
Yes.
Do you know cuties are addicting, dude? And you can just crack open a cutie and just you eat one, and you're like, oh, the whole bag is gone. Not that that's ever happened to me before or anything. That's funny. All right. Third pick. Do we just start going exotic already?
I love it. Yeah, let's do it.
Mangoes.
Mangoes? I thought you said tomatoes. And
No, I said exotic. Do we start going exotic already? Tomatoes? Oh my god. I'm not that.
well, I mean, technically it is, but I was like, are we really going into is a tomato a fruit? Because it technically is
technically it's
but I'm not willing to have this conversation just because tomatoes are
cucumbers are
trash
fruit.
and I don't think that they are worth my time.
Pickles are fruit.
They are.
Has to make you
I
feel
like
like pickles are fruits.
I don't like it.
Just
You want to
think about
go?
that for a second.
I'm going star fruit.
Star fruits are anyways. Kiwis. Come on. Kiwis are significantly better.
Okay. All right. Fair.
Oh my God. The fact if you don't take one, I'm so mad at myself that I'm letting this one fall so far down the board. Come on. There's a clear one that we have just let fall down the board. I'm so mad at myself. I would not have taken a kiwi over this fruit.
What is it?
I'm not going to tell you.
I just said strawberry. I just said strawberry.
Oh, well, it was strawberries. So
It was strawberries?
yeah, it was strawberries.
Oh, okay. So what's your pick? Your last pick?
I don't know because I was going to go with strawberries. So hot take, blueberries are trash.
I got to be in the mood for them. You know, they're all right. They're all right.
We need to get like
Fun
a
fact,
well-rounded.
if you feel like crap and like, okay, let's say that you have food poisoning, right? Because I had food poisoning and it was because of peanut butter. It was bad peanut butter, Jif peanut butter.
Oh yeah,
and they had their
salmonella.
recall.
Yeah.
Terrible. Anyways, I couldn't get anything down. Like I couldn't eat, you know? You know what the one thing I got down was? It was your
What?
second round pick. It was grapes. I got a hold of some grapes and I just put them in a bowl and I just popped some in my mouth until I decided I'm done. And that was awesome. So fun fact, if you're having a stomach ache and you need something, a little bit of that juice and stuff actually calms it down and everything. I read up on it and stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah, while you're making your pick, let me look this up.
This is tough. All right. So the problem here is we have to have a well-rounded. Okay, we have peaches, grapes, mangoes, kiwi. Outside of grapes, it's a pretty exotic. Strawberries would have been a perfect way to well-round this. Apples, no, I'm not going with an apple. Apples are just sorely overrated as well.
You know what? That was terrible advice. Don't do that. Grapes aren't good, actually, for that. Don't listen to me. I'm listening. I'm like reading into it. I'm like, I'm actually countering everything that I just said. So like, I wish I could edit that, but we're kind of live, so like, whatever.
It's okay. Gosh.
What it was saying was it's high in acid, so it's gonna increase like heartburn and stuff like that. Like, it's not a good thing to do.
So just the complete opposite of what you said. Okay.
So
never
literally
in my
the exact
life would I have ever thought, again, easy pick here. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Raspberries.
I can't believe this. Okay.
What?
Pineapple.
See, the thing with pineapple is I'm sure people, gosh, if you're still listening to this, then you guys are real ones here.
Mm-hmm.
Pineapple has like weird enzymes.
Hi, Vince. By the way, hi, Vince. We'll talk on Friday, buddy.
Has weird like enzymes in your mouth that makes your mouth tingle. And the problem, I couldn't go with another exotic fruit. That'd just be too much. So I have to go with raspberries.
So I think that does it.
Yes.
We made it this far. We want to say thank you for listening all the way through. Guys, we have been coordinating a lot. I know I say it all the time at the end of it.
Oh my goodness.
God,
please just stick with us, guys. Please. Something huge is on the way. Just stick with us.
And I'm not just saying just one thing. I'm talking like 2 things, 3 things, 4 things. I'm adding a lot up behind the scenes that, Ben, you're not even on par with. I'll be honest. If you made it this far, we want to say thank you for listening all the way through. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the Pigskin Project. We have a lot scheduled for next week's show, including our our during season previews, our week 3 previews. Sorry, I'm reading an old outro, and much more. So make sure you're subscribed or following us on all platforms. We'd like to give a big thank you to Anchor.fm, Uppercuts Grooming and Overtime Sports Network, as well as Regional Radio Sports Network for helping us promote our podcast. Please leave a review down below, as that helps us more than you know. And that's it for this week. So thanks again for tuning in to the